Hey, everybody. Welcome back to our second Creative Native Hour. We're here with Maija, who you're from Fond du Lac, local artist, and
Yeah. I grew up in Fond du Lac my whole life. So.
nice. And so before we get into our interview, we have the trivia question coming up, and Alyssa's here to give us our events. So we'll jump into that right away. What do you got for us?
So we'll do the trivia question first. And it is, what is the largest reservation in the United States? Don't tell us your answer yet.
Are you talking population or land size?
Let's land size.
Okay. Kind of have an idea.
I
Fine, I won't say until the end.
I think I got a good idea too.
Okay, and then we'll hop into the Powwow Highway. We got the Woodland Bowl in Kashina, Wisconsin. That'll be August 5th, 6th, and 7th. The Upper Sioux Community in Granite Falls, Minnesota. And the Mushkowazin 40th Annual Sobriety Powwow. It says it's on Sunday the 5th, so I don't think that one is all weekend.
Mushkowazin, that's at Fond du Lac again, right?
Yep, Fond du Lac.
Okay.
Other events happening this week. Also, the county fairs are happening. Event in Superior, Wisconsin. The St. Louis County Fair, August 3rd through August 7th in Proctor, Minnesota. And then we got a couple events at Black Bear Casino in Carlton. We got on August 19th, 13 Moons Golf Tournament. I'll have more information about that on Facebook later.
It's quite the event list here.
I know. We got lots of stuff going on. And then the Black Bear Anniversary Event concert is on August 6th.
I'm excited about that one.
Are you going to go to that one?
Yeah, for sure.
So
I
that
love live music.
Yeah, so that they're having Gary Allen, Scotty McCreery, Logan Mize, and Whiskey Trail.
I don't think I know who any of those people are, but
I think they're mostly country artists.
I will get down either way.
Yeah. But that's all I got for events.
Okay. That's, like I said, it's a very full event list you built.
Yeah, we're gonna go to all these events.
We are?
No, probably not. But it's gonna be a busy summer for sure.
You going to go to the fair at all?
Probably not.
No?
I'm gonna be out of town.
I suppose you guys,
Yeah.
you and Brian kind of do the Powwow Highway in Minnesota. And do you guys go to Wisconsin at all? Or?
Yeah. We like almost every other year hit up Kashina Powwow. So that probably sounds like what we'll do. Yeah.
Probably
I
do
think
that
that'd be
this
the good
year.
one. I love that powwow. Have you guys ever been there?
No.
I don't think so, no.
Oh, it's super cool. It's like it's called a bowl for a good reason. It's like a big crater in the ground, and they have these huge giant trees growing up in the middle of the arena, and
Ooh.
I love that.
yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's really pretty, and they have all the best vendors.
Ooh, might have to check that one out then.
Yeah.
How
Yeah,
far away is that? Do you know off the top of your head?
I want to say it's like 4 or 5 hours away.
So it's
trek,
a weekend trip.
Yeah. You don't want to go and you can't drive back and forth.
All right, so let's start a little bit of the interview. So you want to tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, kids, anything like that?
So I'm from Fond du Lac. I'm not enrolled, but I'm a proud descendant. And my kids are proud descendants too. I got 7 boys. Brian and I have 6 together, and I got a bonus son out in Wisconsin. And basically I got into sewing because they needed outfits. And I was broke all the time. So I just started making them myself, and then people started requesting the ribbon skirts, so that kind of became my signature thing.
7 boys making regalia. Your hands had to have hurt.
Well, I will say the outfits didn't look that good back then. They definitely would not hold up today. I don't even think I have any of those first outfits.
Like, wouldn't hold up to your standards, or just
To a kid,
Oh.
like kids would not, they would tear them up. I remember my oldest son's first outfit fell apart like that same weekend. I didn't know you had to sew the stuff you glued down, so you could just see it peeling off. It was a learning experience.
I can't believe you have 7 boys.
Oh, boys, I'm going crazy. Definitely need to get out of the house.
What are the age ranges?
So Brian's oldest son out in Wisconsin is 12. And then there's Skylar, he's 11. Xavier is 8. Wambly's 7. Oh my God, I'm getting them all mixed up. And then James, 5. Misqua's just turned 4 on the 5th. And then Dylan, my baby, is almost 2 in October.
That's a handful. You're almost going to have teenagers.
it's a full house.
That's exhausting to think about. Teenagers are a lot of work.
I know that.
I'm loving the baby years.
Could you imagine the food bill when they're teenagers?
Oh,
God.
Goodness.
growing
A
boys.
McDonald's run is already $50.
Dang.
I know.
McDonald's is so expensive now.
I know. Whatever happened to the $1 burger? You
Yeah,
can't get
no
nothing
kidding.
for $1 anymore.
Trying to take us for all our money.
I know, right? I agree.
So, you grew up on. So you said you grew up on Fond du Lac, right?
Yeah. Yep.
What was that like?
I appreciate it a lot now, more that I'm an adult, and kind of found my own way in our culture. It was difficult though. Like, I was growing up around a time when there was a lot of like gang activity going on, and a lot of that happened to be family. So like I wanted to hang with the cool crowd.
Cool kids.
Yeah, I got in trouble a lot. A lot. I spent a lot of time running from Fond du Lac PD. But I mean, I'm grateful to have grown up there because now that I'm older and appreciate it more, like I feel like Fond du Lac will always be home, and it's given me that like safety net to like go and have new adventures. I mean, I live in the city area now, and I don't know if I entirely like that, but I mean, it's still cool. Like, there's still a lot of things that you get to do when you have close neighbors that you don't know, and like a lot more friendships, different types of people, and it's a different experience from growing up running through trails and getting yelled at by the ladies next door. So
It'll always be home.
yeah, it's nice to have that.
So, what's it like raising your 7 kids in the city area versus the res?
Oh yeah, that's difficult. Like, you don't have a lot of family around you, and when you got a lot of kids, you're calling up. I'm calling my mom like every other day, like. You got to come get your grandkids. My brother carries a lot of that load too, and I don't know what I'd do without them. They're a really good support system. But being away from them kind of like it pushed me to be more responsible, I guess. I'm not enthused about it, but I have to be the best version of myself because I don't have a lot of things to fall back on, So I appreciate it in those ways, but also like, let me come home.
Yeah, like helps you grow as an adult, and
Yeah, for sure.
and that kind of situation is like, all right, well, I'm gonna learn from this, and I'm gonna make it better and as best as I can do it.
Sounds like you know. You gotta move away from home a little bit.
Yeah, I moved away from home for 5 years. I lived in Baxter, and it's nice to be back.
Yeah, you like being back after being away, huh?
And especially like I miss my mom. I want to go see my mom
Yeah.
all the time.
Appreciate your mom a little more.
Yeah, definitely.
No, I do.
Going into would you consider it a small business then? You said it's called Sew Maija.
Yeah, that name was meant to be temporary, but the people liked it, so we
Yeah,
kept
it's
it.
catchy. I love it.
Yeah, it's a goal to kind of make it more official. But I don't really like doing that stuff. Like, I don't like having to do a lot of extra things like manage Facebook's pages and business pages. And so I suppose if I was more interested, or if I could find like a family member to help me out, I'd be able to make it more of a like a business
Like
thing.
an
But
official business.
yeah, right now I just a lot of my people, my clients, if you will, are people I grew up with. It's crazy how supportive they are. I feel so blessed in that way because I don't know if a lot of like small businesses get that type of community love. I mean, I know Duluth, they love their small businesses and the community kind of rallies for that, but I'm not sure like indigenous small business wise, especially when it comes to like sewing. I don't know what that support system looks like. It's kind of like a new thing that Native artists are more normalized. So I feel really lucky in that way to have people I grew up with like my whole life, just like every time they need something, hey, what do you got available, or what can you whip up? And it's overwhelming, makes me want to cry.
It has become more recognized. I would say Native artists have become a lot more recognized.
Yeah, like red carpet recognized even, and it's so beautiful to see. Those ribbons, man, they shine. They shine a little special.
Yeah. So when you were growing up, is this something you saw yourself doing?
I always like wanted to be an artist. I kind of thought I'd be like one of those starving artist types, but sewing, no, even in home ec, I was like, wow, I feel like such an old lady. I don't feel very cool at all, but that's changed. And I'm grateful that I've found something that keeps us afloat and is enjoyable to do, and it's creative, So I'm happy that I ended up doing something artistic anyways versus like going to school for something that I never really wanted to do. Just wanted to make a lot of money.
Do you do this full time?
I do. Well, that's a confusing question because that's all I do that's how I make money is sew, but it's very much when I have the time.
Well, 7 boys, I'm sure.
Yeah, we're not doing a solid 8-hour shift, which I kind of crave sometimes. It would be nice if my workshop was somewhere besides my dining room. I would love to get out the house a little bit.
So you're basically a full-time mom and then a full-time.
Yeah, yep. I imagine a lot of parents are like this. They get kind of nervous about sending their children to daycares. You just never know what's going to happen to them. So it started out with like, well, after this baby is old enough to talk and go to school, then I'll get back into work or, pursue a career that maybe would be fun. But then I just kept having more and more kids. So that didn't work out so well, but it pushed me into this phase of my life where I get to like whatever jumps in my brain, I get to create it, and people are here for it, and that's a good feeling.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, the support of the community and just supporting you.
Yeah, and it comes from the most unexpected places, and it makes me feel a lot better about, like, like our earthly issues, like climate change scares me, social injustice scares me, just all the negativity in the world. It's cool to see that, like, there's love coming from, like, people you would never expect love to come. Like, I mean, we've been, friends. I would consider you a friend for sure. Like, our whole lives. I can remember you as far back as my memories go. So, and then, like, you're a little bit older, so you went to school your way, and then I went where I went, and now we're, like, coming back full circle, and, like, we get to cross paths again, and it's cool because then I get to see where you're at in life, and it's always fun when people take an interest in what I'm doing. Especially when I feel like I'm in my own little bubble all the time. It's really crazy. It's crazy to see how far people have come in life, and I'm so proud to see you doing so good.
Yeah, you too, definitely. When we first started the podcast and we were making the segment Creative Native Hour, it's like, we got to get Maija on and showcase her artwork, and because your ribbon skirts are beautiful.
Oh, wow. That means so much. That means a lot to me.
Like, I'm about to put in an order.
Do it. Yeah, I'm not very busy. Man, sometimes that changes though. Depends what's going on in the community all the time too. Like we just had a powwow in our community, so everybody in the area is like, "What do you got for outfits? How fast can you make an outfit?" And I'm like, "Oh man, I'm not even in town right now."
We'll just circle back then, and
yeah. I guess my next question would be, how long have you been making ribbon skirts and doing your artwork?
Yeah. So 2009 is when my son was born, and that next year, I want to say, is when I made my first project, which was a grass dance outfit for him, because we had a ceremony for him coming into the circle, and so that was my first project, and then there was like another powwow coming up, and I lost my son's outfit, so I had to make him a new one. And then that's when ribbon skirts started coming around. I want to say that was like around the 2013 time. Ribbon skirts started really getting poppin'. Like, everybody was like wearing like these really cute skirts with like 4 ribbons going across, and I think at first, when I first started seeing them, I didn't know like the protocol on them, like if you only wear them at powwows, or a certain dance category wore them. I just wasn't really sure. But I love the way they look. I mean, they're so cute, they're so flattering, they're just fun and beautiful. So I asked about them more, and I really wanted one for myself, so I made one. I just glued it down. I didn't know it had to be sewed on. I was like, oh, that last stuff, it was a flake. This is that stuff. So my ribbons were falling off. And then I want to say about 2017 is when, like, I released, like, when I made my first order. Vanessa Northrup messaged me, and she's like, "Hey, if I give you some money, will you make me a skirt?" And I'm like, "What? People, what? People, you gonna give me money to do that?" So I was stunned. I remember that because that was my very first order, and I think about that skirt all the time, and I'm like, God, why did she pay so much money for that? That was garbage. But she was really happy about it, and she encouraged me to keep going. And then Vicky Northup put in another order, I believe she asked me to help with the vet special, help make the grass dance outfits for that. So like that, like just those two women, I don't know if you know them or not, but they are just the most beautiful souls in the world. And the love and encouragement that they gave me at that time, like really like my head was big. I was like, man, I'm that girl. Like I can sew ribbon skirts and like I can make grass dance outfits, and I just felt real cool and wanted to just keep doing it. It was like it was out of love. Like
Yeah.
I felt so guilty charging anyone anything. I still kind of do get like that, but right off the bat, like a lot of my stuff was for free, or like $20, $40 here, yeah, but I think I kind of derailed a little bit there.
No, actually, like just curious, how much do you charge for a ribbon skirt?
So for something real basic, it starts at 120, and there's a lot of up charges from there. Like if you want stacked ribbon, so like 4 to 6 rows of ribbon would be like $120. But if you wanted more than that, depending how much more, it'd be like 150, 200 even. Applique is another upcharge. Pockets, although I try not to upcharge too much for that because I love pockets.
We need
and I feel like-
pockets.
yeah, I'm like, I want to make that as convenient as possible. So things like that can, raise the price a little bit. But I like to start at a decent price because I understand how expensive outfits can get, and I understand that sometimes you don't want to go out there in your street clothes. Like you want to feel included, you want to feel like you belong there, and that's something that I like. When I wanted to dance, I didn't have a lot of money or access to like the best seamstresses and or any. Actually, my mom hunted down somebody to make me my fancy shawl outfit, but once I outgrew that, I didn't know who to ask, and I definitely couldn't afford it. So that's a big reason why I like to keep my prices like reasonable, and why I like to gift things a lot of the time, so that way people feel encouraged to go out and dance or come to the ceremonies. I just hope it'll make people feel better. When you send your kids to school with a new outfit, you just hope that they feel good because they look good, that type of deal. Like, I really feel like people will really come out their shell a little bit if they feel like they got a little flair in it.
And it's a confidence boost too.
Yeah.
You look good, you feel good.
For sure, yeah. Yeah, so.
I was going to ask. What was I going to ask? I forgot. Do you do any other types of artwork besides sewing? Do you bead?
I do bead. I have a couple of finished projects in the universe, but I'm so slow at it. I beaded my son a headband, and it took me a couple months to do. So I'm the slowest beader in the world, but I like to draw and I like to paint. So those are other like artsy things I like to do. I don't get paid for those things at all.
Just more of a hobby.
Yeah, I've tried my hand at tattooing. But yeah, beads, man. Those little suckers are the pain in my existence. My husband, he wants me to bead things all the time, and I'm like, oh man, you sure you don't want me to just sew you something? Get that done. Lickety split.
Yeah.
Do you enjoy beading?
When I'm in the mood for it, yeah, for sure. But that time is very, very rare. My kids, they like to be in everything that I'm in. My sewing area is pretty kid-proof because that's the best way I get stuff done is just keeping them busy on the side of me. But the beads, man, they get everywhere.
Yeah.
They're tiny.
Yeah, no matter how many times you vacuum, you're like, you're vacuuming beads for like a month. No joke.
It's like glitter.
Yeah, just like glitter.
What's your favorite piece that you've made?
Ooh, I made just recently a fully stacked ribbon skirt with pockets, with the most beautiful purple floral. I love purple, and so when I get to work with it, I'm really excited. And I wish I had a picture that I could just show your guys' podcast.
I was
It
gonna
had
say, do you have
some,
like a face? Do you have it on Facebook or anything?
yeah, it's on my page, Sew Maija, Facebook. It's fully stacked, and it's kind of got like a purple to a pink theme, and it's got like a bear on it to resemble it's a graduation skirt, to resemble the graduate, and then the Ojibwe florals, really resemble her Ojibwe side. I don't know who that went to. I know it was one of my husband's coworkers that put in the order for her daughter who was graduating. So I never got to see it on her. So she hears this. Tag me in some pictures.
Yeah. So, yeah, we'll definitely share your page and get you some traffic if we can.
Yeah. Just message me because I'm the worst at updating that. I'm very much dropped the ball on my social media page because, oh man, when I do post on there, I get a lot of good feedback right away, and I just don't know why I don't. It's so much work. It's so exhausting to go on there and post a picture like, oh, I got this available.
Well, and like you said, if you had some help,
Yeah. My son, he's pretty technologically savvy, man. I should get him to do it.
Put him to work.
Right.
Okay, here's a couple bucks. Help me out.
Yeah, he would do it for sure. Probably
Yeah.
for some V-Bucks.
From Fortnite.
Yeah. If I let him stay up a little later, he sure would do it.
That's so funny.
So we talked about your favorite. What's the hardest piece you've made?
That's so easy. Sequins. Don't ask me to do nothing with sequins, please. Please. Oh my God. I seen this like really pretty shawl once, and it had like the most beautiful applique on there. And I'm like, wow, that's so pretty. I want to try some applique on some sequins. And it was the worst decision I've ever made in my life. I broke like 90 needles, gunked up my needle so bad. And I thought I could like try it again on something else. I finished, it was just a regular skirt, but oh my God. It took forever because that sequence would just gunk up my needle, break my thread. Every like 5 stitches, I was going nuts. So definitely sequence. I'd rather clean bathrooms and do dishes.
I just like, that's an easy one.
Where did you learn how to sew? Did you teach yourself or?
Yeah, so I've got a lot of helpful tips throughout the years. My mother-in-law, she taught, my stepmother-in-law, I got a couple of them. She taught me how to hem, which was like probably like the most useful tool ever. It made my life so much easier. And then my home ec teacher, I don't remember her name. Maybe you do. It was at the Cloquet Middle School.
That's a long time ago.
Oh, I know. I seen her somewhere one time, but I was like, she would never remember me, so I got a little shy to say hi. But we had to make sweaters for home ec.
I remember the sweaters.
Yeah, I don't know if yours was as bad as mine, but I could barely get my head in there. Yeah, so that's where I learned the basics of sewing. There's some things I like kept along the years, and some ideas I kind of just I would never do again. Like patterns, who needs patterns? Just wing it. Yeah, but my home ec she swore by them. She's like, just measure, use your patterns. But I'm like, man, so much extra work.
I don't know.
Swing it.
To be honest, I don't. Yeah, I think the only thing I remember from that class is how to sew a button.
Yeah, and that's a good skill to have, though.
I think that's about it. Otherwise, I'm like, I don't know how to do any of this.
I bet you if you needed to, though, like, those lessons you learned would come in so handy.
Yeah.
For sure. Because I never thought, I was like so not ecstatic about that class. I'm like, oh, Mac, really? Except for when we made cookies. Then I was there on time.
We're cooking.
Yes. Taste testing everything. But yeah, that sewing class was, God, like the worst week of my life.
Now look at you. Now you're.
I know. I know. I wonder what she would think if she remembered. She'd probably be like, wow, really? You're a seamstress? Would never guessed.
What is the one piece that you haven't created that you would like to? Like, is there anything on your roster that's like, hey, that's my goal?
Yeah, a couple things. So I actually put in motion one of the things. My husband said he wouldn't start dancing until he got a fully beaded set. So I started, and the cat's out the bag. This was a surprise for a while, but I had to tell him. I'm the worst at keeping secrets. So I'm beading him a vest to hopefully get him started dancing traditional or grass, whatever. I think he'd be a pretty sick grass dancer, but his choice. But then there's this fancy shawl outfit that I just been dying to make, and no one has ever requested a fancy shawl outfit from me, which like just blows my mind. I'm like, why doesn't anyone want to dance fancy? It's so I got to just make it. I'm just gonna make it, and hopefully someone buys it. I was gonna make it for myself, but I'm like, I think my fancy shawl days are behind me. But we'll see. If no one buys it, I might just dare to. Wink, wink. Ooh, maybe you want to.
Well, I was gonna say you can pick it back up. Get back out there, dance.
We'll see. We'll see.
I mean, you're kind of starting to get out there too.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Fond du Lac Vet Powwow was the first time I got out there, and
Really?
since I was like 7, maybe.
Did you
or
get
8?
in full regalia?
No,
I would have been so sad if I missed that. I'm like, did you get all dressed up?
no, I do want to get back out and dance. I've thought about it, and
Man, I will if you will.
I just had
You heard it here.
catch us in the next one.
Next
I
year.
just haven't danced in a long time, and I'm like, do I even remember how? And maybe it'll just
What's your
come back to me.
style?
Do the jingle.
Oh man, that's so much harder than I thought. I thought that would be an easy conversion from fancy to jingle, but I'm like, wow, I really underestimated y'all. You jinglers are tough.
Yeah,
Calves of steel.
like I said, I was like 7 or 8 probably last time I danced, and
Gotta get back out there, get
Yeah.
that healing. Go get healed up.
yep.
Have you made a jingle dress?
Yeah. I don't know how many at this point, but they're getting progressively better. It's been a learning process, so the last couple ones that I did, I'm pretty proud of. So
I was gonna ask, do you have to like make the jingles, or do they come in like a little
Oh my
package? Or?
God. Yeah, yeah. I have rolled jingles before, and that's
Oh,
definitely not a mission for the.
it's like hundreds
it's
of
tough.
jingles for one.
Yeah.
regalia. That's
Yeah, it's so much work and a lot of cleaning, a lot of prep. So I definitely prefer to buy them just ready to go. Unfortunately, nobody has made them, so they're like already on the thread. So you still
so you
have to
gotta-
thread them. But so if anybody's looking for a good business idea, I'll be your first customer. Thread the cones, I'll buy them.
Yeah.
It's a long process. So
So you've been doing this since 2009, you said, right?
yeah,
Around that?
probably about 2000. Well, yeah, 2009 era when my
Where-
son was born.
Where do you pull your inspirations from?
Well, like I kind of just like I pick out the material and then I'll go and lay out ribbon, and sometimes I'll adjust them. But I got a pretty like distinct way of how I lay them out. I like to go from darkest to lightest, like almost always. I've seen artists do them a bunch of different ways, but I just kind of like that scheme.
Yeah,
that,
like the cohesiveness of it.
Yeah.
Cohesiveness, jeez.
I like
Ooh,
that.
like that big word?
Yeah, that was a good one. That was a good one. Yeah, so I like, and that's my favorite part of the process too, is like going to the fabric store and like just looking at all the fabrics, and like it's always the ones that jump out at you that are like you can't wait to get home and start sewing. So I think a lot of the inspiration comes from like the fabric. The fabric tells me what it wants to be.
When somebody puts in an order, can they pick their own fabric and bring it to you, or do you more like
Or like,
pick it out?
I got this.
Like,
I prefer to pick it out.
Okay.
I've learned over time that it's harder to like to get the inspiration or even motivation sometimes when someone has like a really something really specific that they want done.
mm-hmm.
And I've heard another seamstress say it best. One of my role models, Lavender Kingber, said, really investigate. do your research before you pick an artist to make something for you, because it's almost painful to make something that isn't with like their style. So if you want a really like nice fitted skirt, you probably don't want one from me because I like them real flowy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just for example. Or if you want like a lot of applique, a lot of people like excel at that. I like the applique. I've been getting into it and I've been learning about it, but that's not something I'm super good at it. So I wouldn't message me if you want tons of applique. I would hit up for Herb Fondé. That's your guy.
Yep.
Also, like, you know, sometimes they want specific colors, and I'm just in my brain, I just can't for the life of me figure out why they want those colors together. So it's difficult. It presents a challenge, which is sometimes like a breath of fresh air when you got like kind of like a writer's block, but for like sewing.
I suppose forced
Yeah.
creation kind of feels like you can't put as much passion into it or your own creative style into it.
Yeah, and then when I've noticed that a lot of like when I get customers who are unhappy, it's because they wanted something really specific out of me, and like when I try to like go off on my own, they don't like that. They want what they wanted, and I respect that. I really do. But you know, you can find artists that are along the lines of what you're looking for. So yeah, if I can tell customers that if you want a good experience, do your research for sure.
Yeah. I think
that's a good tip. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's with anything really, though.
Yeah, it is.
So, do you have any other platforms where people can see your art, like Instagram or
No.
just Facebook?
Yeah, and Facebook's a lot for me to manage.
Well, Facebook's easy. People only have to remember one thing, and
Yeah.
That's cool. Do you care if we share some of your?
Yeah, not at all. Share away. Share everything.
yeah, I'll get on that.
Yeah, hit me up.
Well, I think, is that all you have? I think that's all I have.
Those are all the questions I got.
Except for thank you, Maija, for
Yes,
coming
thank you
in.
so much. It
Thanks
was
for having
awesome
me.
talking to you and hearing your story.
Yeah.
and
I'm surprised we weren't here longer. I tend to ramble like forever.
That's okay. We love a rambler.
We'll be here forever.
We'll post your stuff, and
Yeah, so make sure you check out our Facebook and Maija's Facebook for all the works of art and creation. And of course, we're going to share it. So make sure you check us out.
that's Sew Maija. That's SEW.
Yeah,
It's a little pun.
Yeah.
punny.
I love
Yeah.
it.
Right. Well, do you have anything else for us before we go to our trivia answer?
I do want to mention the giveaway winner. Congratulations. And to look out for more giveaways from us. We'll be doing that more often. And
Yeah. So make sure you check us out, and if there's something else you'd like to see in a giveaway, make sure you comment and share your ideas on our Facebook.
What did you guys give away?
We gave away a $50 gas card,
That's nice.
a Minnesota Park Pass,
Oh, nice.
and
So
some of our
nice.
merch and some wild rice with it
yep.
too. Just like a little goodie bag full of stuff.
That's cool.
Yeah, I thought it was a good one.
Yeah, I like the park pass. We got one from my husband went and got his tribal ID, and they were handing them out.
Oh,
those
nice.
Two, so
Oh, cool.
those are nice to have. But it was cool when we were out in California. They took his tribal ID, and we were able to get into the national park for
Oh,
free.
that's so cool.
Oh, that is cool.
Yeah, that's super cool.
Yeah, I didn't know if that was like set in stone. That Native Americans get into state parks for
Yeah.
free.
And I didn't know that it was everywhere. I kind of thought it was like a Minnesota thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because we've tried to do it in Minnesota, and, like, they're like, are you sure? I don't think so. And, like, me and my husband are pretty like, nah, you go check that out. Like, we get in for free.
Yeah.
This is indigenous land, buddy. But when we were there, like, we kind of just, like, expected to pay.
Yeah.
We didn't really want to mess around too much, but it was nice. The park ranger actually asked us if we were tribal members, so I thought that was cool.
Yeah, I love
That's
that.
cool.
The recognition.
Yeah, right? Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a big deal.
No, we're still here.
That's right. I would love to remind them.
All right, we'll get into the trivia answer.
So what was
ju-
the question
Yeah,
again?
just to remind you, the question was, what is the largest reservation in the United States? Any guesses?
I'm gonna say, I'm gonna say the Seminole, down in Florida.
Okay. Maya, do you have any guesses?
I can't think of the name of the tribes, and now that, like, I'm thinking deeper about it, I think there's more than one tribe. But you know how Oklahoma just got all their land back?
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking maybe you're talking about them, but I'm like, is that cheating? Because I don't remember the names of nobody.
Isn't it? I can't remember either. I don't, to be
You
honest
got a
with
lot
you.
of tribes over there.
Yeah.
Kind
Yeah.
of like a hub of tribes.
I'm not going to say my guess because I know the answer. The answer is the Navajo Nation.
Oh, man.
Okay.
Why didn't I think of that?
With 24,425 square miles of reservation land
Good for them.
spanning
Dang.
4 states.
What? Okay, I would be very curious to know, like, how restricted that is. You know, like, are they able to just do anything they want with that land, or does the government have a lot of say?
Yeah, I don't know either. Maybe
That's
we'll
so
have to look
cool.
into that.
How big is it? Like-
It's roughly the size of West Virginia.
Okay. Dang.
Nice.
Their own little state.
Right? Good for them.
Heck yeah.
All right. Well, I think that's all I have. Again, thank you so much for coming down and
Thank you,
talking with
Maya.
us.
Thanks for having me. I feel cool.
You are cool.
All right.
Well, from all of us at Middle of the Road, we'll see you next time. Tune in next week.
Bye, guys.
Yeah, Giga Waba Man, Minoa.